Let's give it up to the youth. Loyal to the squad if we win or we lose. It is in our veins, that orange and the green running through and through. Cause you know we want it. These squad versus ours, now they don't really want it. Our 33's deep with pros in abundance. Get ready for the storm cause the hurricane's coming. Let's give it up to the youth. Loyal to the squad if we win or we lose. It is in our veins, that orange and the green running through and through. Cause you know we want it. These squad versus ours, now they don't really want it. Our 33's deep with pros in abundance. Get ready for the storm cause the hurricane's coming.
Whoa, what's going on, man? All right, so the Miami Hurricanes win another game in a shootout against Louisville Cardinals. A game that I thought that the Miami Hurricanes was going to literally blow this team out. But this game was everything that you expected. But unfortunately, the Miami Hurricanes pulled this game off. Cam had another spectacular Heisman performance. The Miami Hurricanes moved to 7-0. But there are some concerns with the Miami Hurricane in the last 3 games. Cal, Virginia Tech, now Louisville. A good Louisville team that could have actually beat Miami yesterday. Miami jumped out to a 10-7 lead in the first quarter. Then they tacked on 14 more to make it 24-17 by halftime. They gave up a late touchdown in the first quarter when Isaac Brown ran for Louisville ran for 43 yards. Now, I say this to say that is that Miami defense has not performed well in the last 3 games since the beginning of the season, where they was holding the opponents down. Now they have been giving up a lot of points. They has been giving up a lot of explosive plays. And it seemed like they make plays at the right time to really get the team where they need to be. You can't really rely so much more on Cam and the offense to carry the load because the defense has to be able to stop players. If your defense doesn't stop players and you have to outscore teams to win, you're going to get yourself in a situation where you're going to lose. Because if you look at, and I'm looking at Georgia yesterday, I'm looking at Texas. Even though Texas lost to Georgia, I'm looking at Ohio State. The teams that's in the top are here. Penn State is up there, but I don't think they are that good. But nevertheless, Miami is ranked number 5 right now in the AP poll. Most likely, they'll probably be outside of the BCS when it comes out by a slot. And they have to win out. That's the main thing. They're going to have to win out to get that top 4 spot, to have like a top 2 or 3 spot to actually have a bye week. But still, Miami has to fix. Lance Guidry has to fix that defense. I mean, I don't know why his defense is not playing like it was last year. They was more physical last year than they are this year. They're not really, holding these top opponents. Now, give Louisville credit. Give Louisville credit because they was actually doing the things that they needed to do just to actually stay in the game. They was making plays. They was taking advantage of Miami's speed and finding quick hitch. So in the first quarter, Miami went up 3-0. And then, like I said, Louisville came back with 7 minutes left in the first quarter to Isaiah Brown 43-yard touchdown. But, Miami did come back with Jacoby George 27-yard pass for Cam Ward. Then Sam Brown in the second quarter had a 49-yard pass, which Sam Brown had a big game. And Sam Brown is now starting to establish himself as probably the go-to guy because Jacoby George was looking like that guy early on in the season. But Sam Brown has emerged along with Xavier Stripper, because we know Xavier is like, he's like the Wells Walker. He's like the Julius element of the Miami Hurricane. He's just that guy, Mr. Reliable. He's going to come in and do what he needs to do. So Sam Brown in the second quarter had a 43-yard pass and that's what took Miami went up 17-7. Then Louisville bounced back with a 3-yard pass, made it 17-14. Then the Miami defense pinned Louisville deep into their own territory, and which the Louisville did get good field position at that time, but a penalty brought it back inside the 5, where Louisville tried to run out. The running back got hit by my Miami player. The ball fumbled in the end zone. Miami recovered for a touchdown, and that gave Miami a 24-14 lead at that time. Then Louisville came down, scored a field goal, cut it to 7 before halftime. If Miami had stopped that, they would have took a 24-14 lead into halftime. That would have changed the complexity of that score, because Miami came out in the third quarter and Cam Ward hit Xavier Stripper for a 9-yard pass to make it 31-17. It would have been 31-14 at that time. Then they would have put a little bit more pressure on Louisville to get away from some of the things that they needed to do. But nevertheless, Miami kicks the ball off. Lacey for Louisville ran it 100 yards back, brought it up 31-24 at that time. So that was still a one. It made it closer to be a one score game. Then Miami ended up punting the ball. Louisville got it again. Tyler Slow threw a 21-yard pass to Ja'Cory Brooks for a touchdown. That tied the game at 31-all. So back-to-back scores for Louisville to come in within 7, then eventually tied the game midway through the third quarter. Then Miami went down. Isaiah Horton got a 2-yard pass from Cam Ward. Miami went up 7, 38-31. Now, if you notice, the third quarter really start to show blow for blow. Whatever Miami did, Louisville had an answer for it. Miami scored, Louisville scored. Miami didn't score, Louisville scored again. And it was like a heavyweight bout. They was going back and forth, hitting each other, boom, 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 boom. Then things got even tighter going into the fourth quarter, where Duke Watson took a pass for Tyler Slook to make it 38-all in the fourth quarter. Then Xavier Allen, he ran a 2-yard run for Miami to make it 45-38. Then to seal the game, to put the game away, Damian Martinez ran for 30 yards into the end zone to make it 52-38. And then as seconds was going down the clock, the Louisville Cardinals scored 45 to bring it into a one-score game. So Miami took a 45-38 win. Then they went up 2 scores, and then that's pretty much put the game away, because Louisville didn't have no more time on the clock to really – because they did try an onside kick, which that onside kick was trash. But you got to look at it. Cam Ward, for the 7th straight game, threw for over 300 yards, 4 touchdown passes. He leads the nation in touchdown passes right now. And I think he has almost over 2,000 yards, almost 3,000 yards passing so far. He's been averaging 300 yards a game, something that Miami never had in a long time. But you got to tap your hat off to Tyler Slough for the Louisville Cardinals. I think he did play under Crystal Ball, I think, at Oregon, if I'm not mistaken. But he had a hell of a game. He was 31 for 51 for 342 and 4 touchdown passes himself. Damian Martinez had a great second half because he came on because, they was running Fletcher a little bit more in the first half. But then he came on with 12 carries, 89 yards, 1 touchdown. And like I said, Sam Brown had a hell of a game. Sam Brown had 3 catches for 125 with 1 touchdown. And he had a lot of explosive plays, especially come across the middle. He had a lot of explosive plays. And I think he's kind of like developing into that go-to guy now for Miami. But nevertheless, man, when you look at this game from top to bottom, and I'm going to the score box, like I said, Cam Ward had his QBR was 93.3. He ain't had no turnovers. He had 4 touchdowns. Damian Martinez had 89 yards. Fletcher had 73 yards. Ajay Allen, he came in, he had 5 carries for 31 yards. He probably would have had close to 89 too. Cam Ward ran the ball a little bit more to get out home range. He picked up a huge first down in this game too in the second half. And he had 7 carries for 29 yards. So Miami total, they rushed for over 222 yards total as a team. And they had 2 rushing touchdowns along with it. And like I said, Sam Brown, who had a magnificent game, his longest catch was 59 yards. Xavier had another 100-yard game. He had 7 receptions. His longest was 63. Jacoby George had 43 on the tap. Mark Fletcher had 26. Isaiah Horton had 17. And Allen had 7. Now, there was 1 fumble loss because Fletcher fumbled the ball that gave the Louisville Cardinals the ball at that time. So the Hurricanes did have 3 sacks on the day. They should have more sacks than that. They're not really getting pressure to the quarterback like they need to. And they relying too much on, like, to stop the run. Now, that 43-yard run from their running back for Louisville, that was the only big play they gave up. But they could not stop the passing. And this is something, like I said, this is something Miami going to have to continue to work on because they have a Florida State team next week. They should beat handily, they should beat this team. There's no way Miami should walk into play at home at Hard Rock Stadium, host the Florida Gators. Not the Florida Gators, the Florida State Seminoles, and struggle and have a shootout. Florida State is not good. They're 1-6 on the tap. But we already know that this is a rivalry game. You know what I'm saying? We know this is a rivalry game. So why would you continue to, like, put yourself in a position to struggle against teams that you should be beating? Now, like I said, Louisville is a good team. They're a good team, and you got to make sure that you give them the respect they needed because there's no way that you should be struggling as much as you had. They already had a players-only meeting a week ago. They was off last week, so they should have came out more than ready, not sitting there and like, hey. But like I said, the defense needs to be fixed. The defense needs to get in gear. They really need to figure out what they're gonna do now. Like I said, Florida State, again, they should handily beat this team because Florida State is not good. Because they have Duke after that at home, a game that they really can't take lightly either because Duke has beaten Florida State, but you should beat them also. You're expected to beat them. So now, like I said, this game was pretty much explosive from I ain't gonna lie, from start to finish. This game was explosive until Miami took control of the game later down the line. Ward continued to show his explosiveness. He continued to make plays when it count. There was one time he was sacked. He got out of that. Another time he had pressure on him. He actually flicked the ball to Fletcher to get minimal gain of that. Now, like I said, I think Boise State was off yesterday, and Cam Ward right now continuously putting himself in position to solidify his Heisman nod. Now it's going to come down to him and the running back from Boise State, pretty much so. But nevertheless, the O line gave Cam Ward some good time. He did get sacked a couple of times, but they did give him some time to get out the pocket. I would like to see him run out the pocket a little bit more to make the defense honest instead of just sitting back there and holding the ball in his hand and make the defense honest. Run out, get 5 yards or so, 5 to 6, 4 to 6 yards on a carry. Then you make the defense think differently. When you make the defense think differently, guess what happens? Guess what happens? You are able to execute a little bit better in the game. When you sit there and teams know you like to pass and they're sitting back there, because Miami's strength is their running game. Once they can establish their running game and get their running game going, I said this all year, Miami had need to run the ball a little bit more. You got a three-headed monster back there. You got four, really, with Chris Johnson. But you need to run the ball more effectively to set up the pass, screen games, dives, whatever the case might be. Then your quarterback is a dual weapon in itself. So why not when he sets up the pass and he has all that time in the world, run out the pocket. When you make that defense react differently, you're able to hurt them quicker. Because if you run out the pocket, defense is gonna creep up. Then you could, if you throw and find an open man, he's open. But you can make the defense a little bit honest. So me personally, I feel like that is one of the things Miami need to really look at, because they could be really explosive if they take advantage of the little things that are there. But again, they have to make sure this defense gets better, because even if you go into the playoffs and you have a bye week and you come out and you get a bad matchup with a team, say you get a team like Oregon. That's, to me, that's a bad matchup. Right now, for Miami, that would be a bad matchup because Oregon is good. Oregon is really good. So, now, again, Ward completed 21 of his 32 passes for 319 to break Miami's record for consecutive 300-yard gains, mostly recently held by Tyler Van Dyke in 2021. Ward is 4 away from the Miami all-time record of 300-yard gains, a mark of 11 shy of Van Dyke and Brad Kaya. So, and also Restrepo, like I say, he caught 9 passes for 100 yards, 101 yards to go along. Now, Miami did outgain Louisville 538 to 448. Which seemingly was good because Miami got, like I said, they got over 200 yards rushing, and he had over 300 yards passing. So, but like I said this before, Louisville had chances. If they had to get key stops from Miami, now I think that fumble took Louisville out of it. If they didn't fumble and they was able to go down and score it, we could be talking about something different right here. Both teams didn't really have a lot of defense. They gave up a lot of explosive plays. I mean, this was like a really high scoring game. 100 points? 100 points in the game? That's crazy. So, but Miami, after back-to-back wins, comeback wins from Virginia Tech and Cal, they needed to beat this Louisville team a lot. They needed to beat them and make sure that they had to do the things that they needed to do to continue to stay in the ACC mix. But now Louisville visits Boston College on Friday night, and Miami has a home stance with Florida State. That's up next. But like I said, Miami still needs to clean up a lot. They have a lot to clean up, and it's going to not bode well if they can't get this stuff cleaned up by time postseason come. They should win the rest of their games on the schedule, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as some of us think it is. I went into this game this weekend saying, hey, Miami is going to blow out Louisville because Louisville hasn't been playing well. But guess what? Miami has not been playing well, especially on the defensive end. That's my issue, and I'm going to continue to say this. Miami defense needs to get better, especially stopping the run and controlling some of the big plays they have been giving up in the recent games. So until then, like, comment, subscribe. Give me your thoughts on this game. Until the next one, go Hurricanes.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.